I think she does hit a good point that there are the streaks of sort of contemporary egalitarianism. I think can be sort of laid. I think that there were mustard seeds in it, in perhaps the Christian ethic of self. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Maybe I'm reading stuff that's not there. Or what do you?
No. Look, he was certainly a great opponent of Christianity, Nietzsche. It all starts with him. If you want to become familiar a little bit with the words and that didn't work, you have to start with Nietzsche.
Yeah.
He's a classic, as it says. But then again, I'm at this point where I'm not disputing Christianity. I'm not fighting with the Christians.
Yeah.
Because lots of my friends are very conservative Christians.
Yeah.
So I have no problems with that.
Where it seems like the Catholic Church it's not as hierarchical as the Eastern one, but it's better. See, do you get what I'm saying? It's like the degeneracy it got a little bit worse and worse. Till now, I mean, wasn't there a quote in the 19th century by somebody said, socialism is just Christian, something like socialism is Christianity in political form or in
absolutely in secular form.
Do you think there's a bit of truth to that?
Yes, because there's a chapter in Acts, I forget which chapter it is, where basically the disciples and the apostles, like Peter was around at the time. I'm pretty sure by that time it was Paul, Silas. They were all they would share their houses with each other. They would share food with each other. They very much were communitarians. The original communitarians, dare I say, racial communitarians of their time, and I know, I took a communism class when I was a sophomore in college, PS 377 at OU, and, my professor, who was a Jewish professor, and, of course, hardcore leftist and all that, he was basically saying how communism, because of this chapter in the Bible, is actually it's mandated by this chapter in Acts, where everybody shares everything with each other. Now that, if you ask me, is a little bit of a stretch, but the point is that there is a basis for community.
There's some truth there.
For sharing, resources with each other, not at the expense of yourself as an individual per se, but there is basis. I know that.
The big of it, at what point in European history did the degeneracy start? Like basically said, Oliver Cromwell established the British Parliament, and that's pretty much all that happened. And
Now it's way worse than that.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, I'm thinking to myself, imagine if you made a documentary, let's say just about I don't know, the Axis powers, and left it they got the economy going again, and that's all that kind of happened. It was kind of, you know what I mean, overtly kind of writing out parts of stuff.
Yeah,
and I've always kind of wondered, are there just certain events that you're allowed to kind of whitewash?
Yeah, kind of. It's a dissonance because you're trying to preserve your own sense of self-worth and identity, I suppose. If you're Mr. Pro-American, for example, then I have seen Rush Limbaugh and others on talk radio do this for years.
Kind of an interest in Oliver Cromwell, the English Civil War. It's Oliver Cromwell, whatever, just for the record, whatever you may think of him one way or another, he blatantly, would say things like, we need to purify the Irish and Catholics, and clearly, I don't think it's disputable. He had a very anti-Catholic sort of worldview, but he's not seen as such a social monster as, say, some of the Axis gang, Stephanie Gray and Cameron Wilson in Calgary, Alberta, and they just something just clicked. It just made sense to me, and just versus some of the some of the pro-abortion advocates, some of their counter arguments are just garbage. I can't put it any more crudely than that. They'll never actually deny that the pictures are wrong. They'll just sort of they'll dance around the issue and say, there's something wrong with you, you're anti-woman or something for having the photos, but they'll never actually flat out say, no, that's not how abortion actually takes place. Pro-abortion demonstrators, I see them, the so-called pro-choicers would get asked, so are you saying that that's not how it actually happens? And some of them couldn't flat out say, just, no, it's not. It's more why are you showing it? Do you know what I mean? It's almost like intentional ignorance.
You'll find the same thing out here. It's an attempt to just avoid the argument altogether instead of actually trying to combat the arguments.
Well, and not only that, what I noticed too, though, is that sometimes, I'll ask
right side here, so make sure people see the stuff. What's more frightening, Halloween monsters or that? That's real. What's more terrifying, Frankenstein or that? A woman's right to choose. That certainly is terrifying, Matt, yes.